That worked. Good morning, children of God. Good morning. So good to have you all here with us this morning. I found this one and I went, And I went, yeah, this is true. I like true statements. The debts we need forgiven are it's a pirate word, there we go, limited habits of self-expression. Forgive me my debts. We may have to play with that one some more. There's a whole lesson title right there. And as one of my instructors used to say, so endeth the lesson. No. Good, let's go have cake. No, wait. We will in a few minutes, but I'll tell you what, let's do first. Let's join together. Let's stand and sing in the silence. In this moment, love is here. Peace and truth are here. God is here. And so we take a moment and acknowledge his presence. Oh, loving Father, Mother God, thank you for your presence, moving in and through us this day. This day we choose to be open and receptive and responsive to your instruction, to your guidance. This day we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing and to pray in the name, in the nature, and in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's daily word, and I'm sure you're all familiar with our Unity publication, The Daily Word. The daily word for today is protected, and it's going to be read for us by Josephine.
Safe and protected by ever-present Christ consciousness. Scientists say some parts of the spectrum of light, infrared and ultraviolet, cannot be seen by humans. Nevertheless, they exist. Similarly, Christ consciousness is present at all times, even though I cannot see it. When life is going well, I can easily see the divine in the people and the circumstances around me. When circumstances are not to my liking, a spiritual perspective may be more difficult. I take a deep breath and relax into the consciousness of Christ, the inner knowledge of the divine that is always with me. In prayer, I call forth the Christ within to help me see differently any situation I am experiencing. I am reassured knowing that I am safe and protected by the living, loving presence of the Christ working in and through me, through my life. And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age. Matthew 28:20.
Rob is on time. It's the second time this year, so there you go. meaning that your bulletin is actually ready before the end of the month. Now, had you been here yesterday, never mind. It's here and it's on the back table right there by the flowers and the guest book, and it has on the back of it all of what's going on this coming couple of months, including Easter, which is really kind of fun, because we're going to have our choir singing with us, and they're practicing every morning at 9, not every morning. That would be nice too, but that's another story. Every Sunday morning at about 9:30, give or take. And there's room for you if you'd like to play. Just saying. Or not. Before we get started this morning, a couple of people who want to put in prayer. For those of you who do not know, our very good friend and one of our charter members, Diane Koash, her husband Bob made his transition this last week. So we want to put that whole family into light and love of the Christ as we move forward today, and hopefully we'll see them real soon, see Diane real soon. She said she might not be here today, and by golly, she was right. But that's all right, we hold her in prayer. I just heard, I don't know the story behind it, it doesn't make any difference, is that our friends in Grants Pass are having a challenge, our Unity friends are having a financial challenge with their church there, and we want to make sure that we hold them in prayer today too. We know that God is our source, and that is true for them as well. So the right, highest, and best for all concerned is what's in progress, and we would like to remind all of them and all of you that we still have some room in the pews. Just saying. There we go. Having said all of that, one of the things I know to be true is that the more often I express who I am, I make a positive statement of who I am, the more that comes about in daily expression. So let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's breathe into that as we join with Steve. I believe in you. I believe. Lord, I trust. I have faith. And having spoken these words of the truth of us, we take time to move to that place within us that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. It is that place within you where you know the truth of you. The Father and I are one. It is that place within you where there is no question, there is no doubt, I am a beloved child of God. It is that place within you where, following His instruction as we enter in this day, we close the door. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day. And for one holy moment, we rest and we listen. For in our prayers, we ask, it is here in the stillness and in the silence that we do our work and answers come. This day, all my needs are met. In this moment, all my needs are met. And I am grateful. The gifts that come to you this day may come in the form of a word, love, peace, harmony, perhaps in the vibration of a song. Regardless of how it appears for you this day, choose to reach out and say yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I accept these gifts. I know they come to me this day wrapped in love. In this moment, I choose to immerse myself in them. And as I do so, each and every cell of my being responds. And in this moment, I am lifted up. From within comes the still, small voice. You are a channel through which good flows into your world. This day, choose to open that channel wide. And know from you, through you, in this moment, good flows in its many forms. First into this room, touching, healing, blessing, joining with other thought of like mind, growing in strength and in power, and I am blessed. I choose to continue to be a blessing from me, through me, into our community, wherever that might be this morning. We are so grateful for the ability to reach out. and touch so many. From me, through me, good flows into our city, touching, healing, blessing. Across our state, across our country, around our world. And in this moment, I am blessed. Through the eyes of love, I see all circumstances and situations and challenges from the perspective of good. I know, regardless of circumstance, I am there. Good is there. This day, we bring that level of understanding to our world. Good is there. And in this knowing, I am blessed. And so this flow continues throughout our universe. We have been taught that in spirit and in truth, we are never separate one from the other. And so we know somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying in this moment, thank you for the gifts that have come from you, through you this day are gratefully received. And that gratitude swells up and returns to you. And in this moment, the circle of life, whole and complete, I breathe it, and I rest in it for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, gently now and easily, we hold to this experience we have shared. We bring our attention back to this place, to this now, to this when, and from our heart we join together and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." Num, 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 num. One of the things that I've discovered is that when I'll just get out of the way, continue my prayer work, just get out of the way, that this body temple responds. And then every now and again I go, ah, look, thank you, God. All right? Is it just, watch the languaging. It just showed up. All right? That's what it feels like sometimes, because I quit trying to do and just did. Kind of give it a Nike moment, just do it. Okay? One of the challenges that we have is we talk a lot about God, we talk a lot about healing, we talk a lot about the process, and we forget just to do it. So instead of talking about it, we just need to allow it to take place. So that I can hold what thoughts and feelings come into mind, and I get to choose, I've figured it out, that I'm the one who decides whether I hold them or not. And if I choose not to hold them, I cut them loose and let them go. And it's no big thing. I want to say thank you to the several people who will remain totally unanimous too, and right here, who took the time this week and called me up, okay? Who just said, in the moment, Rob, this is what's going on in my life, and I could use a little, and I went, okie dokie, and we did that. Right? The reason I'm thankful for that is this is another reminder for me to remember how to go, bam, right into the moment, to center up, to allow Spirit to work through me in the moment. Right? It's that instead of talking about how to do it, it's do it. And I breathe, and I rest, and I turn the Rob filter off and allow God to flow through me, knowing that what needs to be said will be said. What needs to be heard will be heard. And I get the opportunity to play in it. Yay! Now, I have to admit the phone doesn't ring every day, just saying. But when it does, Spirit guides. And that's my point more than anything else, is that you just need to let Spirit guide. One of the things, I came on this title, and I thought about it myself, pour yourself into me. A lot of times we use this line, boy, if I could just be more like Christ, if I could just be more like Jesus, things would be just wonderful. And so then I hold it in a prayer, and my prayer goes, pour yourself in me. And you've seen this picture, yes? Right? And it paints a good picture, but it's a false one. Because it puts God where? Out here and above me. Now, it's true, God is above me and beneath me and all around me, but I need to repaint the picture. God works from within, from me, through me, into my world. And that's the difference between about and live, for me. Okay? So I want to work towards understanding that allows me to step out in my truth. Part of that is then I get I'm going to put my Rob filter back on. I make these stories up in my head. To the best of my knowledge, I wasn't there. Notice how I word it that way. But when the disciples came back after 3 days and said, 3 days ago we fed everybody, and today we have a problem. And Rob would say, and where were you 3 days ago? And Jesus just said, what do we have? Okay? And that's the difference between talking about and coming from within. He just came from within all the time, came from within. And I have this dialogue that I run in my head that never is printed anywhere in paper, even if it starts on the right and works to the left with no punctuation. It's still Rob's picture. And it's why I love that smiling Jesus. Knowing what you know, when someone comes to you and says, this is what I believe, that you have just said, this is what you need to do. You have got to grin. And it's why I love that smiling Jesus. Now, I don't know that he always put that face out there. But inside, that man had a smile that big. How do I know? Because he loved them where they were in the moment. And so when they used the language, as I did a minute ago, about pour into me, he was going to say, not quite. Remember where God lives. From within you out. It's not pouring in, it's an outpouring. Outpouring from you in a way that no one else but you can do. You are so powerful, so enlightened, so illumined right now. That's beyond description. Makes it tough. Now, granted, most of us don't believe that. He said, raising my hand. Yeah, Rob, if you had my list, you'd know. Yeah, well, one of these days we'll trade lists. One of these, I'm going to do it. I keep saying I'm going to, and one of these days I'm going to, you're going to show up, and there's a garbage can right out front. It says, put all your stuff in here, and on your way home, feel free to take all you want. But in the meantime, just leave it out there. All right? Because the truth of you will shine through, from you, through you, into our world, and it does. You have no idea who you reach and who you contact by being in the moment, just being in the moment. Because you see, that being goes like this. One of the challenges we have is that our head doesn't work as well as I would like it to work. Meaning, I have no trouble seeing a circle. A circle I got. Doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end, just is a circle. I got that. Okay, now try this one on. Think spherically. Oh my God. That's thinking the same way, the same direction, in all directions at the exact same time. The head just goes, I'm sorry, I'm not painting that picture. Just not going there. Because it's one of those that's really difficult to do. But the truth is that when you decide to be and outpicture your truth, that's what happens. Spherically, all directions at one time. Your universe reacts to that. Sometimes it responds to that, which is a better issue, in my humble opinion, than reacting, but it does. Now, sometimes it responds in ways that I understand, and sometimes it responds in ways that I don't yet understand. Notice I put the caveat in there, the yet. Right? How many minds are there? One. There's only one mind. Divine mind. From that one comes ideas. Ideas that I take and add to them my thought, my feelings, hopefully my words, and my actions in order to bring demonstration. I go back to our debtor. It's just self-expression. I need to forgive me for not expressing my true self. And I need to let loose of some other things. Not counting Rob, how many of you prayed to the great God them this week? Them or they? They said, they did, them. Yeah, all of us, right? At some point, we just went and shifted focus, and it's okay. Here comes the challenge. Those of us who have been working at it, when we shift to the great God them, we then start doing this. And beat up on ourselves, and we say, I know better than that. And that's when we sometimes then use the language of, come to me, God, come to me. I raise my hand. God, come to me in this moment. As if God is out here. And I'm beginning to learn to change my language. That when that shows up, is God, pour from me. Pour from me right now. to each and every cell of my being, let this just illumine, light up my world. And the still small voice in Rob's head says, sure, not a problem. Comma, and you'll forget in a moment, but I'm still here, period. And I do, and he does. One step, remembering from me, through me. One step, remembering my truth and living in it. Right? Taking a look at what's going on in my world and saying, okay, it just is in my world as I see it. What can I do in this moment? And I heard something this morning, brushed my teeth and I can't see. Covered the eye teeth up, never mind. This morning that came from a source that I would never have thought of ever, but it worked out real well, is we can disagree without being disagreeable. We don't have to agree on every point, but we can have a long-term solution in mind. And we may differ about how we get to there. And I went, that's kind of an interesting thought. I may have to rethink some things about what I thought about those guys. Let's see, I prayed to they, great God, they again. Okay. So I breathe and I center up and I go, yeah. Each of us is doing what we think is the right thing for us to do in the moment. Now, that doesn't mean it always shows up that way in our world. Why? Because we continue to hold conflicting thought. It's just ours. It seems to be part of our human experience that goes all the way back to, oh, sure, have a bite of the apple. Yeah, I'm in for that. And then blame it on the snake. How sad is that? No, never mind. It's always pointing a finger, right? Somebody else's fault. No, I'm still biting from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and I'm just going to still try and work that out. That's the thought that separates me from my truth. Not that the truth separates from me, but I separate from it. And so when I have thoughts of, and we've all had them from time to time, and particularly as a parent, I've had this one, when one of my children, God love them all, has done something, and I'm going, and I'm here to do what? I'm here on this planet because, and if I weren't here, who would care? Anybody besides me ever have that thought? Sure, of course we have. Of course we have. And the truth is, oh, by the way, if you think that's bad, you should see it from my eyes. Thank you, Jesus. Right? It's okay. This is part of your growth experience. This is part of learning. This is learning how to set aside that which is not your truth, which is fear or anger, and begin to respond in love. To say, okay, behavior is behavior is behavior. Have a bite of the apple. Or not. Choose what you will do. And step into that. And there will be those who will say, naner, naner. Okay. See, Jesus had the same problem. And he asked the question, who do they say I am? He asked his disciples, who do they say I am? And they gave him a bunch of answers. None of which were correct from his possession, but he just smiled. See, again, remember the smiley picture. Sure, okay. Because it's not about what others think and what others see, but it's what you see. And as that feedback comes in to you, you get to decide and choose how you're going to A, react or respond, and I sincerely hope you respond rather than react, and make whatever adjustments are necessary for you. One of the challenges that we have is that for some reason, we are very hesitant to express our truth. We buy into this idea of who and what you are based on what others say. And it could be a deep one. And when I mean a deep one, is this one. I just thought about this. I haven't heard of this for so long. When my grandmother was questioned about her grandson, Robert, what she said is, Robert's a very busy child. Now, this was the day before ADD was official. Robert's a very busy child. I have never forgotten that. To this day, Robert's a very busy child. Okay. Now I have a label for it. I don't live the label, I just have one. But it's intriguing to me because here's something that came from a long time ago in my current experience about who I am, that I believed and still believe to this day. I'm a busy person. I am. I'm a busy guy. I do not sit still long well. I just don't. For those of you who like hour meditations, I'll do a 10% with you. Just saying. And then I'm done. I may sit there, but I'm gone. My head is checking into Tahiti or someplace. That's just me. But I've accepted that about me. I'm going to be, that's who I seem to be expressing right now. And see, I don't see it as a negative. I'm going to be expressing that busyness, that I'm on top of it. And I will take the lines that come to me, which are so much fun. You know, Rob, you really upset me. Oh, and why is that? Nobody could be that happy all the time. Really? Where were you on Tuesday? Now, I didn't say that out loud, right? But what I heard and then started to play back in my head was this. That's the projection. I'm going to put out the truth of who I am. The truth of me is going to show up here all the time when I allow it. The truth of me is I love you, no matter what. I love you. And I'm going to tell my face, by the way. Okay. So I love you. That's going to show up all the time. That doesn't have anything to do with what's going on inside of me. That has to do with what I'm outpouring. I bless you all the time. Now, that doesn't mean that's what's going on in here, but that's what I'm outpouring. I appreciate you so much. That may not be what's going on in here, but that's what I'm outpouring. And in the moment, I behold the Christ as you. And that's true even when I'm looking in the mirror. Outpouring. When you have a question, when you have a doubt, you're in good company, number one. And number two, that is the opportunity to breathe and say to this body temple, I love you. Together, I love you. I bless you. Together, I bless you. I appreciate you. Together, I appreciate you. And to this oneness, to this body temple, I behold the Christ. Together, I behold the Christ. As you speak those words, from you outpours the truth, and our world is lifted up. And I'm grateful.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.